I just wanted to talk to you today around some of the experiences that I've had in RBS over the last 10 years. I think most people must know who RBS, the Royal Bank of Scotland, is. We are the poster child for the financial sector in the UK and potentially what has been wrong in it. So it's been quite challenging to be part of this. But I'd quite like to take us back in time. So RBS was founded in 1727. This is a picture of the first shilling note that was printed up in Scotland, and by Royal Charter, RBS was allowed to do that, or Royal Bank of Scotland as it was set up. And I like to think of the company as coming back to these roots. So it was focused on its customer and it was innovating in that space. This isn't digital innovation, but it's an innovation that really helped its customers and sort of quickly expanded to the branches around it because of what it was doing in that area. So I think it's really interesting to think about that as a company. I know that sort of there's been ups and downs, and we're now in the place where we are, where we're transforming the whole company. But if you think about where the transformation started, it's in that kind of thing, what is useful? So I was looking at Wikipedia to go, what is transformation? I'm not sure. I've probably been doing it, but not really thinking about that. And it really came down to this thing of making something useful. And I really like that as an expression because it doesn't necessarily hone you on the technology. It hones you on actually doing something important for your customer for that technology. But having said that, technology is important and we are in the space of change. I think everyone's probably seen this image. So the Vatican back in 2005 and then again in 2013 when the popes were crowned. I'm not quite sure when they get elected. And you can really see what's happened with the change in technology and the pace of change. And so if you are not in the technology space at this point and you're not looking at what's coming out, you're going to get left behind very quickly. So it's important to be aware of what's happening, and I think what's going on with Watson's really exciting, and there's definitely areas in that we can certainly be taking advantage of. But one thing that I like to keep in mind with technology, it's really easy, and I've seen examples of this over the last sort of few years, and I used to call it kind of the Apple excitement, where your CEO or your director would come in with the newfangled gadget and say, I want that, can I just have that? And you'd be like, why? What's it going to do for the company? What's it going to do for our customers? I don't really know, just want to do that. And so I feel that when you talk about technology and investing in technology, which you absolutely must do, you need to look at it in a way that it's empowering your people. So what empowers your people to deliver brilliant customer service that allows your people to be obsessive over that customer service? And I think we've sort of touched upon that in the talks earlier, and really understanding what your customer can get out from that. And if you go back to my shilling note, that was really helpful rather than the big bag of coins I'm carrying around. I've now got a nice shilling note that everyone can use. So that's really great. We've got technology, we've got some cool stuff, that's great. What happens if you don't have the other building blocks around it? I know, Tiff, you were sort of saying about this earlier. And I was involved sort of 7 years ago in an intranet project that was going to take our kind of slightly antiquated 500,000 pages or something, and sort of bring it up to date so people can make changes in real time. And the technology was fantastic at the time. It was the thing to do, but there weren't the people and there weren't the processes, and there was no direction around it. It was literally being managed as a project to get that technology in, and that will then fix the problem, but it doesn't. The technology on its own will not work. So I've got another kind of Six Nations picture there. Rugby, thought it was quite topical. So you've got to have the process. So in kind of going in rugby, scrum, agile, and I'm talking about being agile in small a terms. So agile in the way that you work together in the way that you put those sort of processes, those systems in place that allow you to sort of start to work at speed. Again, coming back to my lovely intranet project, it took forever. We had lots of technology problems, but there was no speed about it. There was no delivery in. And that's one of the biggest killers I've found for projects, that it can be a great thing to do and absolutely the right thing to do. And you've got your customer need there. But if you cannot deliver and get something in because you haven't got the processes around, then you're going to be dead in the water. So showing that ROI as soon as possible really, really helps. One of the things here is around sort of process and data. So how do you show that progress? So I've delivered something, that was great. I'm going to go pat myself on the back and walk out the door. Great, good day. No, actually, what really resonates, and certainly I've found in RBS, it's really about how do we turn into the data points and get some really good points that you can resonate up the chain so that people can understand what you have delivered in, because you've not been a place sort of 10 years ago, maybe digital sat in its own little warehouse and you're kind of playing on your own and doing your cool funky stuff, and then no one really cared because you were weird, but you were having fun and that was great. Then you kind of moved and everyone sort of thought, yes, digital, yes, that's where we need to be. It's strategic, kind of the Vatican's happening and people are taking pictures, and we don't quite know what it's doing though. How is it delivering to our bottom line? We're spending all this money. And what I think now we're at the point where data is absolutely there and driving the value and proving that value through data. And it really helps you to have those conversations with people about why you should be doing this. So understanding your customer, understanding your business and having those data points allows you to be agile, allows you to say, right, I just need to take 2 months to deliver this out and I'm going to do this. And that's what I'm aiming to do. And that kind of leads me on to the next bit, which is your people. So I've gone again with lovely Thomas Edison. I've just found 1,000 ways that it won't work. So you don't fail. And that's something that I probably 2 years ago, if you'd have spoken to me, I'd have been really afraid of failing. And that breeds its own type of behaviour. Now I think it's actively encouraged, and it should be actively encouraged, and it's certainly something that I asked for in my teams, especially just to, if you're fearing something, you're not looking at all of the options that are available, and you're not opening your eyes up to what could come along. And I think this allows you to be more disruptive, and I think that's the other thing around the people. It's getting that mentality into people so that you feel that you can do those wacky ideas. I know we're in financial services, and I know there's a lot of constraints, but I do believe that you should be pushing it out there. So they were kind of my 3 points when I was thinking about what I'd been through, kind of what worked for me and what didn't. So I just got a couple of examples that I was going to run you through, and I hope they are interesting. So this slide's really quite dull, I think. Sorry about that. So this is for our corporate communications website. It's some data from just over a year ago. Now, probably 2 to 3 years ago. The metrics and the data and how we measured success for this site was, we need to get more people to the site because everyone thinks we do bad stuff. So we need them to read our stuff to understand that we are good and that we're being good in the community. Okay, so we've got to get people there. Brilliant. And so then that will lead us to our reputation scores going up. And so this happened a year ago. I don't know if anyone got any inkling about what happened here. You should know. Yeah, sure. Come on. Okay, so this was the Scottish referendum. Something that as a company you have to stay very neutral to. And what actually happened was that Standard Charter came out as the vote looked like it was quite close. Standard Charter came out and said, if it's a yes vote, then we're going to have to move our headquarters to England. It's an accounting issue. we had to do the same, or there was a provision to do that, and there was a decision to take that someone else had already come out. We can go out and see what happens. We got absolutely hammered by the Yes campaign. I've got thousands of comments on our website that said, I'm never banking with you again. You are awful. How could you desert Scotland? You've got this heritage. You've been here since 1727. You don't care about us. So that was really bad. And I think what the point here is not that it's really difficult for us in the market, but just you need to look at your data in the context of the environment. So you need to have a look at what seasonal influences are going on and put that rigor around any of the data points that you are actually doing. But the other thing that I would just caveat with, do not have too many measures or else you will drown under the data. If you're a bank like us, there is so much information out there. Call centres, voice of the customer, surveys are run constantly, just the data that you just get from analytics, from email, the list goes on. So be really careful about what data you have. The next one, I'm sort of slipping to another area that I look after. So this is the business banking website for our business customers. It just launched in middle of August. This was a platform change. This was putting that technology base in to then allow our people and our process to take over. And one of the things here I just wanted to say is about involving your customers, being obsessive about your customers. Now, one of the biggest journeys on here is around logging into Bankline. So Bankline's our online banking service for our business customers. Generally, you have to be turning over 2 million plus to be on it, and you have to have a slightly sophisticated business to warrant it, or else you're probably better off in the online banking environment. Now these customers, so they've got some size. We thought, right, yeah, login button top right, that will work. That works for personal, no problem there. The other thing I should just say on this website, it used to have Bankline and then online banking at the top as 2 buttons, which was really quite cumbersome. A lot of our business customers need to log on to the credit card system. There's actually 19 systems for our business customers, so we've got a long way to go to simplify things. So login button looked like a really good idea. We can give them access to the commercial card section. They currently have to go through all of our pages to get to. We tested this, looking for real problems, not thinking this would be one of them. And it was. Over half the people we spoke to could not find the login button on the page. It's at the top. It says login. They weren't looking for the word login. They were looking for the word Bankline. So what it really did is just highlight, it doesn't matter how clever you think you are or the teams around you think you are, you absolutely have to be going out and talking to your customers, because they'll just tell you your massive pitfalls before you're about to jump in them. And this would have been because it would have hit our call centre really hard, and we were working closely with those call centres over this change. And as it happened, the change went in quietly, which is a change I like, because it means we didn't disrupt any of our customers, which is great. Okay, so moving on to the app. So I guess most of you in here are banking online and you've got an app for your bank, and you probably have used it far more than you ever thought you would when you first downloaded it, and it's now become just part of your life. I kind of amaze myself at the use of the app. I use it in unknown situations. That I never thought I would need to know what's going on in my bank account, or I need to transfer money to someone and they're standing next to me. The app team are absolutely being agile. So that Scrum picture, they've got the tech in, they've got the people in, and they are working in the big agile way, but also in the kind of wider context. And they've got a programme of work that's been going on this year, and they actually launched the first UK bank to launch Touch ID to log into your app, and that was earlier on this year around March. And that's been an absolutely great success for our customers. And this wasn't delivered because it was a cool piece of tech to do. We didn't just dive in and because the senior exec went, I love my iPhone, I wish I could just, This came from our ideas bank. So there is a section, a community on our personal site, and any customer can come along and say, I really hate this, I really love this, I want more of that. And this is one of their big ideas that they wanted. And as such, it got a really good response rate. It's only just one of the things that these guys have put in this year, and they've been improving the app. By far, it hasn't got the most functionality in the market, but at our last service surveys, it was recommended by 9 out of 10 of our customers. And those customers have a far higher positivity to our brand. And in this space, that is actually really quite big, because it shows the way that actually getting this stuff right, sweating the small stuff, paying attention to what your customers want, can really pay dividends. And it doesn't all have to be down to massive technology projects that are going to come in and take forever to deliver. So absolutely getting that click speed in and just keep on and delivering. So that's our app. I've got one more example here. So lovely Ross McEwen, who is our CEO. This page doesn't look really exciting actually, but it is to me. It probably shows my geekiness for the company. RBS has been on a journey. I think most financial institutions are on a journey right now. We're not in a sector that's well respected. We're lower than estate agents. It's a great place to be when you go out and you sit in the taxi rank and they go, who do you work for? But this so this is really about saying that journey and saying that journey for RBS to say, hands up, we've held our hands up, we've done some bad stuff, but this is what we're going to do about it, and this is how we're going to get there. So the aim at this point is to be the most trusted, respective, and top in customer service by 2020. It's pretty ambitious given where we are, being bottom in trust right now, and this is part of how we're going to get there. That piece of work took probably over a year to happen, but in the end, how it happened, we got the right people in the room. It wasn't about that it's got this funky scrolling and we got videos in and we had animation. Actually, it was to do with getting the right people in the room talking at the right time. And that made all the difference. And that's why that's really exciting. It's also come through on the stats. So engagement is 2.5 times that of the previous content. It's probably not that difficult to have done that, but it still shows that it makes a difference and that we're measuring this success, and this will get better. It's kind of, again, only the start of our journey. I had another thought there. Okay, I've totally lost that point. Anyway, so that was really good, and I'm just really excited that we managed to get there in the end and tell that. Yeah, that was it. So we know kind of how people are using this stuff, and that's something that we're going to start to personalise on. So if you're an investor coming in here, they all watched the Ross McEwen video right to the end, pretty much most of it, 90% of it. If you are coming in from the About Us section, which you also can access this, they didn't really watch the Ross McEwen video. I think I get it. Like, I'm not really interested in your man in your suit telling me stuff because I've heard it all before. They went down the page and they watched the animation, and that got through to about 70% of the people that went through that. So it's really important, again, just to understand what your customers want. And then you will drive your engagement, and you won't be in the position that we were, just looking at how many people come to the site and patting ourselves on the back and walking out saying that was a good day. So I kind of like to think of it like this: know your business, but know your customers better, and then be just a little bit disruptive. We're in a market that is being disrupted. We've got lots of new players coming in and trying to take our space, but hey, come on, we've all got good ideas. Why don't we push those boundaries? I know there's compliance and legal, I know there's the FCA, but let's talk to them, let's work with them, and I think that would be my kind of leaving note. on just really understanding your customers, be disruptive, and then you'll be great. So I've just got one more thing, which is slightly techie. So you may have seen this or not. Oh, there's no sound.
I've had my ups and downs.
Where does it plug in?
I'm not sure. We got the tech. Where's the tech?
I think we'll leave it. I'll give up. So what I was trying to say here is not just that I love Jean-Claude Van Damme, but that this has been viewed by millions of people. So it's like 8 to 10 million. It's actually advertising how the Volvo van is completely able to drive within sensitivity metrics that allows him to do the splits. And who would have thought of that? I mean, that's just great, and people love it, and the brand reputation there is really good.
Should we give it another go?
Give it a go. There we go. I've told you all the bits now.
I've had my ups and downs, my fair share of bumpy roads and heavy winds. That's what made me what I am today. Now I stand here before you. What you see is a body crafted to perfection, a pair of legs engineered to defy the laws of physics, and a mindset to master the most epic of splits.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time? And who can say if your love grows as your heart chose, only time? We are
Dynamic steering. There you go. How exciting was that? Thank you.